Coming up in today's vlog, we're out on the Tidal Trent. The main point being that we're staying over the left hand side. We ain't going over there. We discover what happened at Cromwell Weir. If you want to know how dangerous weirs can be, you only have to look back at the events on the night of the 28th of September 1975. And what do we think has happened to this particular boat? Has he moored up or has he broken down? We'll find out later. Good morning everybody, Jan will be joining us shortly. She's just getting the boat ready. This is Cromwell Lock behind us, the first lock, or the last lock depending on where you're coming from, but for us the first lock out of the River Trent onto the Tidal River Trent. Yes, you heard that right, Tidal. Last night it was a bit choppy because we stayed here overnight ready for this morning's trip. Today it's a little bit calmer, and so we're not expecting anything. No, I'm not going to say anything. We'll leave it up to you to have a look.
Are you going out first? Just so he's filmed them. It's up to you. Who's going first? Yeah. It's to be filming, so I've got to get out the back then. Well, don't talk it up, Tony.
This is the weir at Cromwell. If you want to know how dangerous weirs can be, you only have to look back at the events on the night of the 28th of September 1975. 10 soldiers died when their boat went over the weir in bad weather. The Royal Engineers Regiment Sappers of Grangemouth, Falkirk were on nighttime exercise when the vessel capsized at the weir. They were taking part in the Trent Chase, an 80-mile night exercise from Stoke to Hull. They unwittingly went over the weir known locally as the Devil's Cauldron when conditions were also worsened by a high tide. There was only one survivor, Sapper Pat Harkin, who was a strong swimmer who managed to hold on to the upturned boat. A retired police officer who didn't want to be named arrived at the scene after electricity board staff who were fixing navigation lights at the weir raised the alarm. By the time he arrived, the officer said that it was pitch black and he could hear just one man shouting from the water. The officer, then aged 20, along with another member of the force, managed to save him after they were rowed out in a small boat. Good morning, Janet.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody out there. Again, I think I may have done a pre-intro as we were leaving. Apologies if it's a bit windy. It is windy today. Can't do much about that. I've got my fluffy dead cat on the microphone, but there you go. We're now on the Tidal Trent.
I can't say anything. I feel sick.
Jan feels sick. Oh dear. Now, interestingly, although you go with the tides, you also have to look at how much, what's it called? Fresh. That's water coming downstream from the head of the river. River Trent starts somewhere in Staffordshire, flows through all sorts of villages and towns. You'll have seen us go past Alrewas and the Trent, meets the Trent and Mersey there for a short while, and then buggers off again, and then you meet it again at Sawley, and it sort of skirts around Beeston, it skirts around Nottingham town centre, but here, well, from Nottingham Trent Bridge, it flows all the way through now until it meets the Hull at Trent Falls, and Hull is obviously a big main port, seaport, and so that's where the tide is coming from. So the downcoming tide meets the upcoming tide meets the down flowing river, and sometimes that flow can be quite big. If it's 2 foot above normal or 2 foot of fresh, you're doing okay. We've got 7 foot, so there are lots of sandbanks and all sorts of things to be aware of on the journey. We have got the map. I'll show you that. I'm not going to float now because that's what you might be able to
blow away.
It'll blow away. You might be able to see it flapping. Don't go buying the Nicholson's guides or anything like that. Get the one that I'll post up on screen, because that shows you where everything is, gives you lines of sight of all sorts of things, and it also provides some interesting geographical history, all sorts of things. But above all, it tells you where you are and the channel you should take to remain safe. As usual, 90% of the time, stay in the centre of the channel. I'm no Trent expert, Tidal Trent expert. The other place, or the one place really, for all of information to do with the Tidal Trent and some guides and all sorts of things, go to Trent Link. It's a Facebook group at the moment. I'll put again the link on screen here and down in the description. Before you venture out here, you go over there, Joe.
You went on that side. We're going to argue about this now.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've got a big red line, so we're okay. Yes, so before you venture onto the Tidal Trent, go and download the information that's on there. Certainly document number 1 to show you what you need to be prepared. And then just enjoy it, basically.
I think that's the quietest I've ever been.
Yeah, you haven't said a word, have you?
No.
There are 3 locks that obviously take you off the tidal section. We've just come through Cromwell. We're heading for Torksey, which will then lead us on to, I can't remember what it's called now. There's something navigations. I should know, shouldn't I? But there you go. I know where I'm going. A lot of information. Spend a couple of days at least taking it all in. Ask questions. The lock keepers are really helpful. They can't make the decision for you. That's down to you as the skipper. If you want to go, you go.
And we're going.
And we're going, yes. So we're actually going to be going through eventually all 3 locks on the Tidal Trent. Torksey being the first one, West Stockworth, and then Keadby. And we should be going down all of the canals that intermix or interlink all of those as well. Today, if we can get to Torksey Lock and more up, we'll probably stay there a couple of days and then head on to Lincoln.
Yay!
Let's see how far we get. Apparently he's got an overheating problem, so he's managed to moor there and wait for somebody to come and give him a hand. Presumably RCR, I would think. Not much we could do, unfortunately. And if you can see our buddy boat in front, they're right at the side, and we've come right over this way as well. In fact, if you look carefully, you can see that there's no flow of water in that middle section. I'll see if I can get the camera on it. Don't know if you can see that. I mean, it could be the wind, but it could be where the water's not flowing over as quick. Some expert will tell me. I'm bound to be wrong, aren't I? The main point being that we're staying over the left hand side. We ain't going over there, that's for sure. Now we're going to get back into the main channel. Nothing really much to keep an eye on from this point. We're on page 2, I think, of the map. We've heard that there's another boat leaving Torksey this morning. Maybe we'll meet it on the way up. Yeah, it was going Torksey to Cromwell, so it's heading this way. No idea what it is, or when the lockkeeper said there's another boat coming this way. Surprising, it's Saturday, it's May. I know the weather's not particularly brilliant, but you know, it's not a bad day for cruising. Been out in worse than this. So we may see one other boat. No idea. We're doing okay for time, I think. We've done an hour and a half so far. That's including the time in the lock. We set off at 10:30. It's now 12. The lockkeeper is expecting us at Torksey any time between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. We're both keeping a steady speed. And according to the map, we should be there around about that time, I would think. There's a jetty here for the water skiing club, I think. Oh, Marnham Boat Club. Can't read, could I? But it is water skiing, yeah. Can't see anybody out today. Shame, isn't it? But if you want to come water skiing, evidently this is the place. Obviously down here in the river the view isn't particularly spectacular. Certainly not here at the moment. Miles and miles of electricity pylons. And miles and miles of water as well. And the occasional bridge. You'll notice that unlike Thames, for instance, there's very few bridges across the River Trent. But we are going to be coming up and going under one of them. This is Fledborough Viaduct, I believe. Yes, that is an island in the middle of the river. At least it's visible, this one. But it is shallow, so it says in the notes. And we have to go around this side to the right of it, because that's where the deep water is, or deeper water is. This is the entrance into the lock channel. We've got water running towards the opposite way, if that makes sense. So this may look easy, but trust me, there's a flow at the moment. So I'm thinking the best thing is turn early. But at this speed we should be okay. Not getting pushed sideways, so we're okay at the moment. All looking good. Yep. Got the green light as well. I did call the Lockie on the radio. We're in the lock eventually, holding on to the risers. Yeah, okay. That's it, we've gone up that high. Lock gates are open. There's 2 boats in front. And we'll find a mooring somewhere, hopefully. There we go then. More new waters. Ah, cup of tea. It's a good idea. Put the kettle on. Where was I? Yes. More new waters. Fosdyke navigation. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Look at that. Somebody's cut that out of privet hedge. Marvellous. Right, Jan. First bit of the Tidal Trent done. What do you think?
Oh, it was much better than what I thought.
Yeah?
Yeah, it could have been better weather.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was nervous. But because the water was so high above the tide line,
Chart datum.
I don't know.
Whoa, get me learning all the phrases.
We didn't see any of the hidden islands or whatever, and we did it in good time, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah. We were advised to leave at about 11 o'clock. We were told by the Lockie, you can leave a little bit earlier if you want, that's fine. Just be aware that at normal low water, getting into here at Torksey can be a little bit problematic over the sill. But we left half an hour earlier, and because we had quite a few feet over normal river flows, you couldn't really see any of the sunken islands.
Thank God.
But it's always advisable just to follow the red line on the map, even if you know you've got plenty of water underneath. We're not like cruisers, as I think I said earlier on, you know, with a V-shaped hull. Obviously there's quite a lot more under the water than there is on a flat bottom narrowboat. So they have a little bit more of a problem when it comes to low water and low depths than narrowboats do. But having said that, it was still nice. I was checking on the speedometer as we were going, and it said about 6.5, 6.7 miles per hour. I'll leave you to work that out, what that is in nautical miles.
The only thing that was not too good on the river was there was a boat that was broken down, probably a guy our age, maybe a little bit older, and his engine had overheated, and he was, I don't know how he'd moored up. It was the full length of his stern and bow ropes, but he didn't want any help or whatever.
No, there was another boat in front of us. As you know, we were buddying up with
New Dawn,
who we'd met at Newark, but we'd gone past, and evidently he was buddied up with somebody else, because we met them when we got here at the lock, and we were talking to them when we were in the lock, and he said no. He asked if he wanted any help, and he said no. So I'm presuming he must have phoned RCR or somebody, but he didn't want towing, he didn't want any help from us as we went past.
He looked a bit, what's the word, precarious.
Yeah, I think I did mention on the way, I said something like, it's not a place I'd want to moor up, because it was, you know, quite a lot of rope being used on a pin, and it looked quite flimsy. Bear in mind the river's going to get higher and lower as the tide comes in and out.
Wasn't there?
And there was a bit of a flow, so I wouldn't want to stay there too long, let's put it that way.
Anyway, let's just hope that he was okay and got sorted. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, it's free to do so. And then when you have subscribed, press the bell icon.
Ding!
Thank you, Jan.
See you next time, and take care.
Happy cruising.
Bye.